Hey everybody, today I'm going to be talking about something that I just discovered through sheer, willpower. I did not look any of this up. All I did was simply go through and do some math and do some Googling. I'm sure that there might be some sort of website that exists that explains everything I'm about to talk about, but I just want to say that I did not do any research on this specifically. I didn't Google it, and to look it up. I didn't back anything up. Right. All I did was just Google calendars and see if they matched up. So, if I'm sure that, like I said, this already exists on the internet, but I just want to talk about this anyways. So, as you can see here, I have a list of the 2020s and how close and how far away your next usable calendars are. Now, if you don't know, about every year, the day on a calendar shifts by 1 day, roughly. However, if there is a leap year, like for example, let me clarify what I mean by that, right? So if Monday was if the first was on a Monday, then next year the first will be on a Tuesday, and so on. However, if there is a leap year, then there's an extra day, so it would actually be 2 days away, right? So that's why um the calendar doesn't rotate itself every 7 years because of that leap year that actually makes it 6 years. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So you might be wondering, if you have a calendar, or if you have a year, when will you next be able to reuse that calendar? And also, when is the most previous time I was able to use this calendar? So we have it right here, right? So we have the years right here in the 2020s. Here we have the next year that you will be able to reuse that calendar. And once again, when I say reuse the calendar, this doesn't apply for like the lunar cycle, right? This isn't talking about like the full moon, the half moon. I'm specifically talking about the dates lining up with exactly what day of the week it is. Like all of the days, when I say reuse the calendars, every single day in that calendar will be matched up with the correct day of the week. Okay? So, and then if you have any old calendars, in a specific year, this is the most recent time you will be able to have used it. So, let's get right to it, right? 2020, it is coming up very close. As of me recording this is 2019 still. So, if you already bought your 2020 calendars, you might want to keep this in mind, right? But as we approach 2020, keep in mind that the next time you will be able to reuse that calendar is in 2048. So, if you have a calendar from 2020, make sure you just keep it for an extra 28 years. It'll be exactly the same. Also, if you have an old calendar from all the way back in 1992, you'll also be able to keep that calendar, and you can use it for next year. And it's probably going to be this year by the time you're watching it, because it's December of 2019 when I'm recording this. So it's probably 2020 when you're watching this, when I upload this. Maybe, we'll see. 2021, the next time you'll be able to use your calendar is only 6 years in the future. Much, much shorter. And that is 2027. However, the most previous time you are going to be able to use it, or the most previous calendar that you would have been able to reuse, is back in 2010. So if you have a 2010 calendar, you will be able to use it again for 2021. Ain't that cool, right? So, well, you might be wondering, where am I getting all this math from? Where am I getting all these numbers from? So, let me go through and explain my logic. And once again, like I said, I just did pure maths. I just Googled 2010 calendar and Googled like 2027 calendar, and I looked, are those calendars the same? Yes. Okay, what's the math behind it? And then this is how I came up with this whole system, right? So, how to check the closest similar calendar. So, all you need to do is check and see if it's a leap year. If it is a leap year, you simply add or subtract 28 years. It doesn't matter really, right? Although there are some exceptions No, there aren't exceptions to it. Never mind. Um, so, uh, like I said, yeah, 28 years ago and 28 years from the future, you can use those calendars. So, like I said, you can, if you have a calendar from 1992, you can very well use it in 2048. They're the exact same dates. So, but these are just the most recent, right? But it's every 28 years is the cycle. So, if it is not a leap year, then all you need to do is look 6 years ago and from that point, right? So look 6 years into the future and 6 years from in the past from that year on the calendar. How many leap years occurred within that time? If one leap year occurred in that time, then check and see if it's a leap year. If not, you're good. It is right there. So it's just 6 years in the past. If one leap year happens within 6 years and that specific year is not a leap year, then it's 6 years in the past or in the future. Um, if it is a leap year, then you'll need to add another 5 years, and that'll keep it back up. So essentially, if you're subtracting or adding 6 years, and that year is a leap year, then you'll need to add another 5 years. So you'll essentially be adding 11 years. If there are two leap years within that 6 year period, then you'll just need to add or subtract 5 years. Check if that's a leap year. If not, once again, you're good. But if so, you'll need to add or subtract 6 years. So, what I found out is that actually happens all the time. If you have two leap years within a 6 year period, you will always need to add or subtract 11 years. So, just keep that in mind, right? So, as you can see from this list right here, so here we have 2021. 6 years in the future from 2021 is 2027. 6 years ago was 2015. So let's do some math real quick, right? So between the years 2021 and 2027, here, let me write down 2015 so you can visualize it. So in between the years of 2021 and 2027, how many leap years were there? Well, the answer is one. That one leap year was the year 2024. So, because there is only one leap year in between, you simply use that number, 2027. That's 6 years in the future. But in between 2015 and 2021, how many leap years were there? Well, there was two leap years actually, 2016 and 2020. So you cannot use this year. You would have to add or subtract another 5 years, or in this case, you would have to subtract another 5 years, since there are two leap years in between 2015 and 2021. So do that, you get 2010. 2010 will work. 2010 calendar and 2021 calendars are the same. Now, keep in mind, for this 2015 calendar, it is actually the same up until February 29th. But once you get to February 29th, then the calendars aren't the same. Wait, is that true? No, that's not true. I don't think that's true, actually. No, that's not true. That's not true. Ignore that. Cut that out. Oops, excuse me. I'm going to cut that out. That's not true. Hey, guys, this is post-edit me. While I was editing this, I realized that this doesn't apply for 2015. However, it does apply for 2016. So the difference between 2021 and 2016, of course, is 5 years. So if you do that 5-year math, the 2016 and the 2021 calendars are actually the same up until February 29th, but not 2015. That's why I was confused. How about 2022? In between 2022, what is 6 years ago and 6 years in the future from 2022? So that would be 2016. That was 6 years ago, and 2028. That's 6 years in the future from 2022. Well, both of those years just so happen to be leap years, which makes sense because it's 2 years away from a leap year. So you either add or subtract, it's going to be 8 years. 8 is divisible by 4, so it's going to be a leap year either way, right? So because of that, you cannot use the 6-year method. You have to use the 11-year method for both years. So For 2022, the next time you'll be able to reuse that calendar is in 2033. Also for 2022, if you have a calendar from 2011, it will work. And for 2023, which is the year after 2022, obviously, right? How many leap years occurred between 2023 and 2029, which is 6 years in the future? Well, the 2 leap years are, of course, 2024 and 2028. So that is 2 leap years, which means that you're going to have to add 11 years. But for 2023, if you take away those 6 years, that was 2017. How many leap years are between 2017 and 2023? Well, only one. That one being 2020. So you can just subtract 6 years. And as you can see from this whole list, it is very simple, actually. Now, this way of explaining it is actually a little complicated, and it doesn't even work for every year. So here is an easier, much more simple way of explaining it. If your year that you're looking at is 1 year until the next leap year, you just add 11 years or subtract 6 years, and those will be your next and most previous same calendars. If it is 2 years until the next leap year, then you'll need to add or subtract 11 years for your next and your previous. You will have to add and subtract 11 years. If it is 3 years until your next leap year, well, you'll need to add 6 years, but subtract 11 years. So it's the reverse of 1 year until the next leap year. If, however, it is 4 years until the next leap year, you'll need to add or subtract 23 years. Of course, this only happens every 100 years, roughly, because if you don't know, the leap year doesn't actually occur every 4 years. It occurs every 4 years unless if that year is divisible by 100. So every 100 years, you will have a year divisible by 4 that is not a leap year. However, of course, that doesn't apply if that year is divisible by 400. So every 400 years, you're going to have a year that's divisible by 104, but is still a leap year. So keep that in mind. If you have, and last but not least, if you have a leap year, simply add or subtract 28 years. So reading this is probably going to be the most useful for everyone, but I wanted to go through and explain the logic in between that. So I've shown all of the maths. Time to show you some proofs. All right, so we're simply on Google. You can Google all of this stuff by yourself, but I'm showing you because it's a video and I want to show my proof. But like I said, you can Google it for yourself if you would like. So here we have the year 2020. And as you can see, it starts on Wednesday the 1st. There is a leap year because it is the 29th. It is divisible by 4. And once again, there are exceptions. But as you can see here, there's a leap year. It is or leap day. So that would be the 29th on Saturday. And all the way back in December of 2020, you have the 31st on a Thursday. This is the calendar for 2020. Let's move on to the calendar for 2048. As you can see, Wednesday the 1st, Saturday the 29th, Thursday the 31st for December. Let's go back, 1992, exact same thing. Wednesday the 1st, Saturday the 29th, and December 31st on a Thursday. Exact same calendar. I don't know why the website Calendar 365 does it differently for the year 2048, but that's the design of the calendar. But as you can see right here, these are the exact same dates. Once again, as far as like lunar stuff goes, it's different. But we're talking specifically about, as you can see, like some of the blue shaded areas are different here. Like the 3rd and whatnot, right? These are different shaded areas. However, all of the actual dates are the exact same. Let's move on. 2021, Friday the 1st. I'm not going to go through all of it. Just keep in mind Friday the 1st and Friday the 31st, right? That's 2021, so that's 2 years from now. 2027, we have Friday the 1st and Friday the 31st for December. So exact same thing, 2027. So your calendars from 2 years from now, you can use them again 8 years from now. Or 7 years from now if you're watching this in 2020, which you probably are, because I am probably not going to upload this by 2019. That's fine. And as you can see here, 2010. If you have your old 2010 calendars, exactly the same. Let's just go through real quick. I don't know why this is slightly above, but as you can see here, going through, they're all the exact same dates. Let's go a little bit far in the past, 1877, right? This was the example I showed of a year that was divisible by 4, but also divisible by 100, while not being divisible by 400. I didn't do the example for 2000 because that is divisible by 400, obviously, so it would just apply the same rules. As you can see here, Monday the 1st, 1877, Monday the 1st. Also, Monday the 31st. That is what this 1877 calendar looks like. Moving on to 1900. Wow, look at this. Monday the 1st, Monday the 31st on December. 1923, another 23 years later, Monday the 1st, Monday the 31st. It is the exact same calendar. Even though 1900 is a year where it is not divisible by 4, but it is divisible by 100, while not being divisible by 400. All you need to do, it's not the end of the world. All you need to do is just add or subtract 23 years. And 4 years from this point, 1904, that will be a leap year. So you just follow the same exact rules. Thank you guys so much for watching. And happy 2020. I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's. Unless if this video comes out in 2020, in which case, I hope you had a wonderful New Year. And I will see you guys in another video. I have no idea where I'm going to upload this, but hey, take it easy. Definitely going to try and upload a lot more next year.